seen this clip from the Golden Globes when Ayo Edebiri thanked her managers and agents' assistants. Now, in that moment, she strengthened a wealth of relationships and frankly earned herself favors for years to come. Why? Because she acknowledged a group of people who rarely get the recognition they deserve. But there's a bit more to it than that. We can all use this idea of recognition and acknowledgement to build better relationships. We just have to do it the right way. So today we're breaking it down. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Creating Opportunities podcast. This is the place where we help smart, ambitious professionals build authentic relationships for success in all areas of their lives. Why? Because people make life better. They're messy, but they make life better. And I am your host, Cassandra Thompson. I am a speaker, a trainer on connecting in person and online like LinkedIn, and I am here to help you make deeper connections. So let's talk about how acknowledgement fits into that. Okay, before we get into it, just know that I am going to use the terms recognition and acknowledgement interchangeably. So why do we need to focus on this? Well, number one, many a poll has shown that people stay at companies when they're recognized, and lack of recognition is the main reason why people leave. Like above pay, y'all. So if you recognize your people, even if you don't pay them well, they're more likely to stay. You should do both, okay? You should totally do both. But I'm just saying, that's how much recognition matters. And I think even for business owners, we can take this stat and apply it to ourselves too and say, those clients that feel recognized for what they're doing well, they're the ones who stick with us. And Robert Cialdini, the author of Influence, has said that a way to build influence and relationships is to compliment someone. But recognition, in my belief, is taking that one step further. It's a compliment and. So we'll get into a little bit more, but think about it this way. A compliment is you have really pretty eyes, or I really like that dress. And those are nice things. And if somebody said they really liked, if somebody said they really liked my new haircut, I would go, oh, thank you, right? And I would feel warmth towards that person, and it probably would give some affinity, but that's not the same as giving recognition where it goes a little deeper into something I did. I didn't make this haircut happen. Also, recognition is not just positive feedback. It's a type of positive feedback, but they're different things. Because think about it, positive feedback can be something like, good job, keep going. That's not recognition. So what does recognition encapsulate? Well, there are 4 things I believe that are needed to make it recognition. Some of these I learned from other people and then I added my own to it. Some people had 3 things, I think there's 4. And then there's a bonus 5th thing that it does not have to be included, but if included, it is going to make that deepening of the relationship happen significantly faster. It can really knock that acknowledgement out of the park. So the first thing needed for recognition, it needs to be true. That statement you're making to somebody needs to be true. Please don't blow smoke, okay? We can tell when someone is trying to recognize us for something that's not really true. So in order for recognition to work, it needs to be deserved, which means you need to be saying a true statement about someone. Number 2, it needs to be genuine. Now, this is a subtle difference than needs to be true, but I like to think about it as true is just the thing you're talking about is true. The thing they did happened, or you've seen them do it. Genuine is you adding in your personal take on what they did. You are genuinely saying, I acknowledge, I care about that factual thing you did. The way you show that genuineness, I believe, is through word choice and tone. It's where kind of your personality comes into it. In Ayo's case, when she gave that thank you, she literally paused and her whole tone changed, and it was thank you to these assistants for replying to my crazy emails. There was a tone change. Crazy on the email kind of emphasizes the reality of it, but her genuineness and her thank you of there was this breath and this excitement. Like literally, if you watch the speech before that, and then when she gives this, she truly means it. You can tell through her tone, she means what she's saying. It's a genuine compliment. So truth is genuineness of the thing happening. It being genuine is you really do want to compliment them on this thing. Now, the third thing is it has to be specific. This is where we miss the boat. This is one of the ways we take something from generic compliment to actual acknowledgement and recognition. And it sets you apart because most people go generic. But again, going back to Io's speech, what did she say? She thanked them for replying and getting back to her on all her crazy emails. Think of how specific that is compared to her saying, and to the assistants, thank you for all you do. That's nice, but it just doesn't hit the same, right? So be specific in whatever that recognition is. And then fourth, you want to recognize someone for the effort they put in. This is where I think it differs from a compliment. Now, effort doesn't mean that it had to be extreme effort, hard work, or like just to the nth degree or the top level. Think about it this way. If you just said, hey, I really like your dress, that's nice. But if you said, hey, I really like the outfit, or I really like the whole look you put together, it's acknowledging that I put thought and effort into it, right? Or that person put thought and effort into it. And so it just goes a bit deeper. I think adding this effort part really is what separates acknowledgement and recognition from a compliment. Now, if you use just those four things, you are giving recognition and acknowledgement to someone, not just for positive feedback or a compliment. But I do think sometimes there's this category that can take it one step further. And so this is a bonus. If it doesn't fit, don't force it to fit. But if it can fit, great. And that is, if you can recognize something that is often overlooked, you are going to really resonate with the receiver. This is why her message hit home. The amount of people I know who are assistants or were assistants in Hollywood that I saw on LinkedIn and Instagram the next day going on and on about how great they thought this speech was because they finally felt recognized. That's huge. It's because they're an undervalued group. They're an underappreciated group. And so when you recognize them, it goes so much further. I want to give you a personal example of this too. Bear with me for a minute. But when I was 17, I did a mission trip to Peru for the summer. It was the thing that my youth group at church did. Every summer, the senior class got to do this trip if you so wanted to go. And we did construction work in Peru. Now, I don't know if you can tell from this video, but I'm a little bit of a girly girl, or you might not be able to hear it in my voice if you're listening on the podcast, but a real girly girl, and I was even back then. So everyone thought the idea of me doing construction work was hilarious, including my father, who laughed out loud in the parent meeting with all the other students and all the other parents when the leaders talked about what we would be doing. Like literally out loud laughed and went, I'm sorry, I just can't imagine her building walls. Like what? Mixing cement. FYI, I'm an excellent cement mixer. So I knew no one thought I could do this. And I knew I probably wasn't going to be the best. I also think some people, just because of a crowd I hung out with, thought I might be a little lazy and wouldn't be willing to get my hands dirty for, because of some of these reasons. And so I, without telling anybody, set a goal for myself that I was just going to try at everything for that summer. If there was something I thought I couldn't do, it didn't matter. I just had to try. I wanted to be different than what people expected of me. But again, I didn't tell anyone this. I just did it. I went, I will put my best effort forward. I'm not going to complain about the things we have to do. This is what I signed up for. I'm going to try. And then about 3/4 through the time in Peru, our group was having devotionals at the end of the night, and somebody brought up the idea of going around the room and complimenting different people in the group. But some people were giving generic like, hey, I really like what you said I don't know, like this was 20 years ago. It was generic compliments. But Amy, one of our leaders, when it was my turn, looked at me and said, you try. What I have loved is that no matter what this summer, I can tell you're willing to try. And it's really taken me by surprise that you're willing to put yourself out there and try in every situation and get your hands dirty. Y'all, it's been over 20 years and I still remember it because she didn't know that was something that mattered to me. But I went, she saw it, and I'm not like what people expected of me, and I'm not like what other people are on this team. So yay, right? Like it worked out. So just to show you, this is why recognition goes so far. And I don't think I'm alone. I think you at home also can go, yep, I know when someone recognized that thing about me, how much that mattered. Recognition is rare. So when you get it, it's huge. Now, with that in mind, that's where we have to talk about the fact that just because we should recognize people doesn't mean this practice is easy. I recently read a stat that said 95% of our time is taken up thinking about us. Cool. 5% of our time is thinking about other people, and other people includes our family and friends, so there's very little time to be thinking about, beyond family and friends to coworkers and clients, etc. But we need to start trying to move that from the average. Just because 95% of our time is spent thinking about ourselves on average, you can be above average and spend, let's say, 90% of your time thinking about yourself and 10% thinking about other people. But generally, I use this stat just to let you know, it's not going to come naturally. We have to put effort into this. So the first step, I do think you can start with just trying to compliment people, right? Like I said, a compliment is not going all the way to recognition, but it is getting us past ourselves to be looking at other people and going, what good do I see in them? What thing do I like about them? Let me tell them that thing. And so it's just getting us out of the habit of thinking about ourselves and giving some sort of, I'm going to say acknowledgement, but it's not the right kind of acknowledgement, but some sort of recognition and acknowledgement of, hi, other people exist. Then start trying to get more specific. So this is where I think most of us miss the mark. I mean, even if you look at the way we compliment children, it'll be, hey, great game, or hey, that's a pretty picture. Well, why was it a great game? What did that kid play in making it a great game? Or why is the picture pretty? Did you like the way they used the color pink? Do you think they have a really good eye to detail? Those are different things than saying pretty picture. So work on getting specific with compliments and they start moving into recognition territory. Also, y'all, I'm not saying this from a place of expert. I'm saying this from a place of I'm learning right along with you and trying to keep this top of mind. And then to really build in the habit of recognition, start making it the first thing you do in client and one-on-one meetings, right? You don't need to put it on the agenda, but in your own mind, hey, I'm going to start off this meeting by recognizing my client for the work they did this last week, or by recognizing this employee for the progress I've seen on this project. If you're not in those situations, you can also do this by just the next time you're at coffee with a friend, thinking about how can I recognize my friend? Build that habit by putting it to practice as the first thing you do with meeting different people. And as for how to start figuring out what to recognize, well, ask yourself some of these questions. What has this person done that has impressed me? What can I genuinely commend them for? What does this person do that went above and beyond? Really, at the end of the day, the reason we love acknowledgement and recognition is because it's saying, hey, you look smart. You seem smart. You did something that's above average. It's putting you in a category saying, hey, I think you're a bit wiser in this area than the rest of the population. And we like feeling above average. And so let me tell you that I greatly appreciate you watching this whole video or listening to this whole episode. Most people do not get this far. I know, I can see the data, but not just on my stuff, on podcasts and in general. Most people don't listen to the end. So to listen to the end on an episode that's about something so niche and probably something you have to improve on, you're not great at, me either, we're gonna work on it together, that tells me so much about your character and the type of person you are. So I just wanna thank you for making it this far. Now, if you got this far, you're probably also going to really love this other episode on why we need to stop giving value. So go watch that one next. I'm serious, stop giving value. Go watch that over here or it'll be in the show notes below and I'll see you over there. Bye.